I received a message from an unknown account on social media today. It was Amanda, my ex-wife, trying to contact me after 4 years of complete silence. My heart raced as painful memories flooded back. I had built a new life, found happiness again, and thought those wounds had healed. Now she wants to meet, to explain, to reconcile. How could she think I would want that, after what she did? Do I dare face the past I ran from? Let me know where you are watching from in the comments. If you have ever dealt with someone from your past trying to re-enter your life, hit that like button and subscribe to hear how I handled this situation. I met Amanda at a tech conference in Seattle 6 years ago. She caught my attention immediately with her bright smile and intelligent eyes. Her dark brown hair fell just past her shoulders, and she carried herself with a confidence that was magnetic. Amanda worked as a graphic designer for a marketing firm while I was a software engineer at a growing tech startup. We bonded over our shared love of indie films and hiking in the Pacific Northwest. After exchanging numbers, we started dating, and everything felt right from the beginning. Our connection was immediate and strong. We could talk for hours about everything and nothing at all. Within a year, I knew she was the one I wanted to spend my life with. I proposed during a weekend trip to Olympic National Park, and we got married 6 months later in a small ceremony in Montana, where my parents lived. The first 2 years of our marriage were everything I had hoped for. We bought a cozy 3-bedroom house in a quiet suburb with plans to start a family within a few years. Our careers were thriving. I had been promoted to senior developer, and Amanda was gaining recognition for her design work. We traveled together, hosted dinner parties for friends, and supported each other through the everyday challenges of life. I truly believed we had something special, something that would last forever. The first signs of trouble appeared so gradually that I barely noticed them. Amanda started coming home later from work, often smelling of wine. She became increasingly distant, spending more time on her phone and less time engaging with me. When I asked about her day, she would give short, vague answers and quickly change the subject. I convinced myself she was just going through a stressful period at work. Her company had taken on several new clients, and deadlines were tight. I tried to be understanding and supportive, giving her space when she seemed to need it. One night, about 3 years into our marriage, everything changed. Amanda had fallen asleep on the couch while watching television. Her phone, which was usually guarded closely, lay unlocked on the coffee table. A notification caught my eye, a text message preview from someone named Jason. The few words visible made my stomach drop. Miss you already. Cannot wait until. I had never been the jealous type, had never even considered invading her privacy before, but something about those words set off alarm bells I could not ignore. With shaking hands, I picked up her phone and opened the message thread. What I found confirmed my worst fears. There were dozens of intimate messages between Amanda and this Jason person, clearly indicating they had been seeing each other. Some messages referenced specific dates and times they had met. One mentioned a hotel downtown. Jason, as I discovered from scrolling through their conversation, was a new art director at her company. They had been working closely on a major campaign for the past few months. What had started as professional admiration had clearly evolved into something more. I put the phone down, feeling physically sick. Should I wake her up and confront her immediately, or should I gather more information? First, I decided on the latter. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with before making any accusations. If I was somehow misinterpreting these messages, confronting her without solid proof would only damage the trust in our marriage. And if my suspicions were correct, I wanted to be absolutely certain before deciding what to do next. For the next week, I lived in a state of constant anxiety, carefully watching Amanda for clues while pretending nothing was wrong. I noticed her taking calls in another room, smiling at her phone when she thought I was not looking, and making excuses to work late several nights that week. Each observation was another knife in my heart, but I maintained my facade, waiting for irrefutable evidence. My opportunity came when Amanda mentioned she would be working late on a Thursday to finish a presentation with her team. I decided to drive by her office that evening just to see if her car was still there. It was not. With a sinking feeling, I remembered the downtown hotel mentioned in the text messages. The Grand Pacific was an upscale hotel, about 20 minutes from her office. I parked across the street from the hotel and waited, feeling like a character in some terrible movie. At 7:05 p.m., I saw Amanda walk into the hotel lobby. She was wearing the same outfit she had left home in that morning, but her hair was down now and she had refreshed her makeup. 10 minutes later, a tall man with dark blonde hair entered the same doors. From social media stalking, I knew this was Jason. Seeing them together watching my wife walk into a hotel with another man was surreal. I sat in my car, unable to move as waves of anger, betrayal, and profound sadness washed over me. My entire world was collapsing around me. Everything I thought I knew about my marriage, about Amanda, about our future together, had been a lie. I drove home in a daze and waited for her return. She came through the door just after 11, looking relaxed and slightly flushed. When she saw me sitting in the dark living room, she startled. "Carlton, why are you sitting in the dark? How was work?" I asked, my voice unnaturally calm. "Exhausting." The client kept changing their mind about the presentation. She set down her bag and started toward the kitchen. "Have you eaten? I can make something quick. I saw you, Amanda." She froze. "What do you mean I saw you going into the Grand Pacific tonight? I saw Jason follow you in." The color drained from her face. For a moment she seemed about to deny it, but then her shoulders slumped in defeat. "How long have you known I found the messages last week? How long has it been going on?" She sank onto the couch, not meeting my eyes. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies of betrayal, while I had been completely oblivious, thinking our marriage was solid. Why? It was all I could manage to ask. "I do not know Carlton. It just happened. We were working late one night and there was this connection." She looked up at me, tears forming in her eyes. "You and I, we grew apart. You were always so focused on your work, always on your computer. I felt invisible. Jason saw me, really saw me. I could not believe what I was hearing. She was trying to blame me for her infidelity. So this is my fault. I worked hard to build a life for us, to secure our future. If you felt invisible, why didn't you talk to me, instead of jumping into bed with your coworker?" The argument escalated from there, with accusations flying from both sides. Amanda admitted to the affair, but insisted I had emotionally abandoned her first. I could not comprehend how she could twist the narrative to make herself the victim. By the time we both retreated to separate rooms for the night, I was completely shattered. I could not sleep that night. My mind kept replaying moments from our marriage, searching for signs I had missed, wondering what I could have done differently. Had I really been so absent, so unaware of my wife's needs, that she had turned to someone else, or was she simply rewriting our history to justify her betrayal? The next day, I called in sick to work and met my friend Jordan for coffee. Jordan had been my friend since college and had been at our wedding. I told him everything, my voice breaking several times as I recounted the previous night. "I feel like such an idiot," I concluded. "How did I not see this coming?" Jordan shook his head sympathetically. "You are not an idiot, Carlton. She deceived you deliberately. This is not on you. But what if she is right? What if I did neglect her? Even if there were issues in your marriage, that does not justify cheating. She could have talked to you, suggested counseling, even asked for separation. She chose to lie instead." His words helped, but I still felt lost. When I returned home that evening, Amanda was waiting. She had been crying and immediately launched into apologies. "I will end it with Jason. I swear. It was a terrible mistake. I love you, Carlton. Please, can we try to fix this? We could see a marriage counselor. I will do anything." For 2 weeks, we went through the motions of trying to save our marriage. We attended one counseling session where Amanda cried and expressed remorse, while I sat numbly still, processing my feelings. At home, she was attentive and affectionate, constantly checking in with me and trying to rebuild our connection. Then came the second betrayal. I had noticed Amanda was still guarded with her phone, taking it with her, even for short trips to the bathroom. My suspicions aroused, I did something I never thought I would do. I installed recovery software on our shared computer. It revealed a secret email account she had been using to communicate with Jason. They were still seeing each other. The counseling, the tears, the promises, it had all been a show. When I confronted her with this evidence, Amanda's facade crumbled. "I tried to end it, Carlton, I really did. But I cannot. I think I am in love with him. Those words destroyed whatever hope I had been clinging to. The Amanda I had loved, the woman I had married, was gone, if she had ever existed at all. I felt something break inside me, a final severance of the emotional ties that had bound me to her. That night, as Amanda slept in the guest room, I made a decision. I would not allow myself to be hurt by her again. I would not engage in a messy, drawn-out divorce where she could continue to manipulate me emotionally. Instead, I would simply disappear from her life, completely leaving no trail for her to follow. The next morning, I texted Jordan and asked to meet urgently. Over breakfast at a diner far from our usual spots, I outlined my plan. Jordan listened without interruption, his expression growing more concerned with each detail. "Are you sure about this, Carlton? Just vanishing seems extreme." "I am sure. Every minute I spend around her is another opportunity for her to hurt me. I need a clean break, a fresh start somewhere she cannot find me." Jordan sighed but nodded. "Okay. What do you need from me?" With Jordan's help, I began preparations. First, I contacted a lawyer who specialized in discrete divorces and had the necessary paperwork drawn up. Then I started looking for jobs in other cities, focusing on Denver, where I had a distant cousin but no mutual connections with Amanda. I was fortunate to secure a position quickly with a smaller tech firm, partly thanks to a glowing recommendation from my current manager who believed I was relocating for family reasons. Next came the financial arrangements. I withdrew half of our joint savings, leaving Amanda's share untouched. I set up a new bank account at a different institution and had my final paychecks directed there. I found an apartment in Denver and paid 3 months' rent in advance. The last step was the most difficult, deciding what to take and what to leave behind. Most of our furniture and household items had been purchased together. I decided to take only my personal belongings, clothes, books, a few mementos from before our marriage, and essential documents. Everything else would remain for Amanda. I timed my departure carefully. Amanda had mentioned a weekend work retreat that I now suspected was a cover for a trip with Jason. Once I confirmed she had left town, I put my plan into action. Jordan came over to help me load my possessions into a rented truck. It took only a few hours to pack up the pieces of my life I wanted to keep. Before leaving, I placed my wedding ring on the dining table, along with the divorce papers. I had debated whether to leave a note and what it should say. In the end, I settled on simplicity. "I know everything. Do not try to find me." No accusations, no lengthy explanations, just finality. By nightfall, I was on the road to Denver, leaving behind the ruins of my marriage and the life I had built. As the miles stretched between me and Amanda, I felt a strange mixture of grief and liberation. I had lost something precious, but I was also free from the lies and betrayal. The first few months in Denver were challenging. Despite the new job and apartment, I felt adrift, disconnected from my surroundings. I threw myself into work, staying late at the office and taking on extra projects to keep my mind occupied. My new colleagues were friendly, but kept their distance, perhaps sensing I was not ready for close connections. Jordan kept me updated on the aftermath of my disappearance. Amanda had returned from her weekend to find me gone. Initially, she had been furious, calling and texting Jordan, repeatedly demanding to know where I was. When he claimed ignorance, she had shown up at his apartment in tears, alternating between anger and desperation. Eventually, she signed the divorce papers, but she did not stop trying to locate me. She reached out to my parents, but they had been forewarned and revealed nothing. She contacted old friends, former colleagues, even distant relatives. No one gave her any information either, because they did not have it, or because they understood my need for a clean break. 6 months into my new life, things began to improve. I joined a support group for people dealing with betrayal trauma, which helped me process my feelings and begin to heal. I made my first real friend in Denver, a coworker named Sophia, who invited me to join a hiking group. The mountains became my sanctuary, a place to clear my mind and rediscover my strength. As time passed, my new life took shape. I was promoted at work, bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood, and expanded my social circle. I started dating occasionally, though nothing serious developed. The wounds Amanda had inflicted were still tender, making it difficult to trust anyone with my heart. 2 years after leaving Seattle, I began to feel truly settled in Denver. The pain of betrayal had faded to a dull ache, one that I could acknowledge without being overwhelmed. Jordan, who visited several times a year, commented on the positive change in me. "You look good, Carlton. Peaceful." "I feel good," I replied. "For the first time in a long time, I feel like myself again." He hesitated before adding, "Amanda is still asking about you. Jason left her about 6 months after you disappeared. Apparently, he found someone else." I felt a flicker of vindication but no real satisfaction in her suffering. That is her life now. It has nothing to do with me. Around that time, my friendship with Sophia began to evolve into something deeper. She was patient with my trust issues, never pushing for more than I could give. Our relationship developed slowly, built on honest communication and mutual respect, everything my marriage had lacked in the end. After another year, we moved in together, and I found myself happier than I had thought possible after Amanda. 4 years after my escape from Seattle, the notification appeared on my LinkedIn profile. I had created a new account for professional purposes using my full name, Carlton James Thompson, rather than the Carlton Thompson I had gone by before. Somehow Amanda had found me. Her message was simple. "I know you probably never want to hear from me again, but I need to talk to you. Please." She included her phone number. I stared at the screen, my heart racing. After all this time, after all the effort I had put into disappearing, she had found me. My first instinct was to ignore the message, to block her account, and continue with my life. But a small voice inside me wondered if I was truly healed, if I was still running from the past. That evening I showed the message to Sophia. We were engaged, now planning a wedding for the following spring. She read it silently, then looked up at me with concern. "What do you want to do? I do not know," I admitted. Part of me wants to ignore it, but another part wonders if I should hear what she has to say. Maybe it would help me fully close that chapter. Sophia took my hand. "Whatever you decide, I am with you. If you think talking to her will give you closure, then maybe you should. You are not the same person she hurt all those years ago. You are stronger now." After considering it for several days, I replied to Amanda, agreeing to meet her at a coffee shop near my office. I chose a public place for the conversation, somewhere I could easily leave if things became uncomfortable. When the day arrived, I spotted Amanda as soon as I walked in. She looked older, with subtle lines around her eyes and mouth that had not been there before. Her once vibrant appearance seemed dulled somehow, her shoulders slightly hunched, as if under an invisible weight. She saw me and stood up, uncertainty in her expression. "Carlton, thank you for coming." I sat down across from her, maintaining an emotional distance despite our physical proximity. "You said you needed to talk to me." She nodded, hands wrapped tightly around her coffee cup. "I have been trying to find you for years. No one would tell me anything. It was like you had vanished into thin air." "That was the point," I said evenly. "I know." She looked down. "After you left, everything fell apart. Jason and I lasted only a few more months before he cheated on me too, with someone from his gym. Poetic justice, I guess. I lost my job when the company downsized, had to sell the house. The past few years have been difficult." I felt a twinge of sympathy, but pushed it aside. Her hardships were not my responsibility. "I am sorry to hear that, but why did you want to see me?" She took a deep breath. "To apologize, first of all. What I did to you was unforgivable. I betrayed your trust in the worst possible way, then tried to blame you for my choices. I have had a lot of time to reflect on the kind of person I was then, and I am ashamed." Her words seemed sincere, but I had thought her remorse was genuine before, only to discover more lies. "I appreciate the apology," I said carefully. "There is more." She hesitated. "I still love you, Carlton. I never stopped. I know I have no right to ask, but is there any chance we could try again? I am not the same person I was. I have been in therapy, working on myself. I would never hurt you like that again." 4 years ago, those words might have moved me, might have reawakened the love I had felt for her. But now they simply confirmed how completely I had moved on. I felt no anger toward her anymore, only a distant sadness for what we had lost, and the pain we had both experienced. "Amanda, I am engaged." I showed her the photo of Sophia on my phone. We are getting married next spring. I have built a new life here, one I am happy with. Tears welled in her eyes. She is beautiful. Is she good to you? She is, and I try to be good to her too. We are honest with each other, even when it is difficult. That is something I learned from what happened between us. Amanda wiped at her tears. I truly am happy for you, Carlton. I wish I had not been so foolish. I threw away the best thing in my life. We talked for another hour, not about reconciliation, but about closure. I told her about my life in Denver, my job, my hobbies. She shared her struggles and small triumphs since our separation. By the time we said goodbye, I felt the last remnants of bitterness dissolving. I wished her well, and I meant it. Take care of yourself, Amanda. You too, Carlton. And thank you for meeting me today. It means more than you know. Walking away from that coffee shop, I felt lighter than I had in years. The ghost of my failed marriage no longer haunted me. I had confronted my past and found it had no power over me anymore. That evening, as Sophia and I discussed wedding plans, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. The pain of betrayal had nearly broken me, but it had also led me to discover my own strength. I had learned to value myself enough to walk away from a toxic situation, to start over when necessary, and eventually to trust again. Our wedding day arrived 6 months later, a joyful celebration with friends and family in a mountain lodge outside Denver. As Sophia walked down the aisle toward me, I felt a profound gratitude for the twisted path that had led me to her. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives can lead us to the best if we have the courage to keep moving forward. Have you ever experienced betrayal from someone you trusted completely? How did you rebuild your life afterward? I would love to hear your stories in the comments. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear that there is life and love after betrayal. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember, sometimes the hardest decisions lead to the greatest peace.